ざますよ。行くでガンス。まともに始めなさいよ。
Hey, now you're a man!
Now you're a
man! You are now a man, you're a man!
ヤンパス。
Now you're a
お
man!
兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。お兄ちゃん。お姉ちゃん。お兄ちゃんの変態。
Live it! What makes a man?
This is manly anime for manly men. We made the show because we wanted to. It's not like we like you or anything. I'm Jack, and I'm here with my co-host, as always, Nathaniel. Nathaniel, how you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing lovely. How about yourself, Jack?
I'm doing fucking fantastic. Can you tell by my tone of voice? No? Okay,
Yes,
well,
yes.
Okay. All right. On this episode, I know I'm excited for this episode. Are you? Because we're talking about Haiyore and Nyaruko-san.
Yeah. Not excited isn't necessarily the right word, but I'm curious to revisit this one.
Excited. I'm excited to do the episode. I think talking about anime is fun.
Oh, absolutely. That's why
and
we're here.
I feel like we're gonna have a lot.
I mean, there
to
is
say
the money
about
and the fame, but it's about the love of the craft.
Yeah, I can't believe how rich we became. Like by the second episode, basically, we were already so rich and famous. But in case it's unclear, we have both already seen Haiyore and Nyaruko-san, and so this will be a rewatch for the both of us. Which I think this is this the first? Yeah, this is the first anime that we've both seen it.
This is, yes.
Yeah,
I've been going in blind for all of them.
Yeah, and I had seen Godobun before, but the rest of them I was blind. But on this, we've seen both of them, or we've both seen them. And yeah, so here's what it's about. It's about an ordinary high school student, as so many anime are, Mahiro Yasaka, and he gets attacked by a dangerous monster. And then he gets saved by a girl with silver hair named Nyaruko. Who is actually, I guess, the shape-shifting, fuck horror pile, Nyarlathotep from the Cthulhu mythos by H.P. Lovecraft. And she's there on Earth. She's like a space policeman or something, I think.
Yeah, something to that effect. It's, in case you can't tell, it's not terribly faithful to the original Lovecraft.
Oh, no, not at all. Because I think she's here specifically because she likes anime and video games. Anyway, the point is she falls in love with Mahiro and then just sort of exists in his home. Then a bunch of stuff happens. There are aliens, and she fights things, and it's super, super dumb.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't like this. I was not a big fan of Nyaruko-san.
Yeah, me neither. And obviously, we'll talk more about it after we've rewatched it. And I don't want to get too into my opinions, but I went into this one really wanting to like it because I am a fan of H.P. Lovecraft's fiction, and so it seemed like it could be a fun concept.
Yeah. It's a big universe, and when I heard about it, it's like, oh, there's this anime, and it's got all these like Lovecraft monsters, but they're kind of like anime girlified. I was like, that could be really fun,
Yeah.
And I think my big problem with it when I first saw it was really not what I was like looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Not what I came into the show wanting, and so I wonder if now that I know what it is, if the second time around I will enjoy it more.
Yeah, I'm curious about that as well.
I don't know. I wanted more Lovecraft shit, but now I know that it's just like, I don't know, some weird fucking thing with a space policeman girl, and then she fights aliens. I'll be like, yeah, sure, okay, whatever. And also now I know more about Kamen Rider than I did before, which I guess they make a lot of references to Kamen Rider.
Yes. That's. I did not know a lot about that at the time either. So
Yeah, so yeah, it'll be an interesting watch. But it's got
and to go back to what you were saying, even though neither of us enjoyed it that much the first time around, it is a very fun show to talk about.
Yes, that's the thing I feel like about Nyaruko-san. There's a lot to say, you know.
Yes.
If I remember it correctly, this was a while ago. There was just always something going on, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very high energy show in a lot of ways, but I just didn't think that energy was put towards the right stuff.
Yeah, and it does as a harem comedy, which right, we're doing a harem comedy again. And as
good genre.
As far as harem comedies go, it does do its job of however you feel about it. It inspires opinions and feelings about it towards it from you, you know?
Yeah. I do have thoughts about it.
Yeah, I sort of show that you like to discuss and shitpost about and whatnot.
Yeah, it definitely felt a lot like a shitpost kind of show, you know?
Yes.
Like even just reading the synopsis and being like, this doesn't have anything to do with like actual Lovecraft stuff. It's just like that's just like a framing device. This show is made as like haha, Lovecraft is here kind of sort of dumb shit post. And I remember that is exactly what drew me to watch it the first time. Mm-hmm. Is like I read about it. It's like there's this show that has Nyarlathotep as an anime girl, and my reaction was, "What? I gotta watch this!" And then I did.
Yeah. Yep.
So I guess that's like the point of it. You know?
Yep. Pretty much. Yes, that's about why I watched it as well. Like as a Lovecraft fan, it's like I can't not watch it. You know?
Yeah. Well, we're falling for it again. Is the
and this time we get to share the experience with you, the listener.
Yeah, aren't you excited? We've talked about it. We've talked it up so much. I'm sure you're really going to enjoy it. But yeah, we have yet to rewatch it. We're going to do that because I don't think we have anything else to say for this pre-impressions thing. Do you?
I do not.
Not really. Okay, so we're going to take a break, and then when we come back, we'll have seen the show again. But first, let's talk about lesser shows for lesser men. This is the segment where we quickly recommend or say is shit an anime that we've seen that we normally wouldn't talk about on this show. What are you going to talk about? What's your lesser show?
Well, just recently I watched an OVA that ran from 1994 to 1996 that I happen to have in my DVD collection called 801 T.T.S. Airbats.
Okay, that's quite the title.
And I have to say that among the anime in my collection, this one is by far one of the first in alphabetical order. I mean, you got 801. I think I've only got 0091 before that. So, but
awesome.
But more than that, it's a show about a unit from the JSDF, the Japan Air Self-Defense Force, and it's an all-female aerial acrobatics team. And interestingly, it appears to be like an actually affiliated with the JASDF at the time. They displayed that prominently at the beginning of the series. And it's not exactly what I expected from the description going in, and which is disappointing in some ways because, I mean, being a show about an aerial acrobatics team of fighter pilots, I was expecting that the show would be kind of based on the aerial action of that, you know. But
yeah, the actual acrobatics.
But instead, it seems to be it goes in more of a romantic comedy direction / general comedy. There are whole episodes where there isn't much in the way of planes at all, and it's just something like, the squadron goes to compete in a ramen eating contest or something like that.
Okay.
So
it's not really playing to its strengths, I feel.
I don't think that it did, no, and which is unfortunate because there is some real excitement in there. There was one scene at the beginning where one plane's landing gear has to go out, and so they land the plane by a second plane coming over and stabilizing the wing with their own flying alongside them. So that was exciting, for example. But more of the focus was on the characters and their relationships.
Okay.
So I wouldn't necessarily recommend going out of your way to watch it, but one thing that I will say is, if I would recommend it for anything, it's the art direction is incredibly strong. The character design has a very expressive, cartoonish feel to it that is really appealing, and the plane designs are, unfortunately, as I mentioned, the focus isn't always on the planes because, I'm not a military otaku or anything, and I didn't examine the stills, but to my eye, the plane designs look very detailed and well made. If I had to guess, I would guess that was what the official affiliation with the JSDF was about.
I would imagine, yeah. That seems like why they would get that.
If you like old cell animation and you love watching beautifully drawn stuff like that, and you don't necessarily care so much about the plot, like the kind of shows that I end up liking a lot, then this one might be one you might want to check out, or not.
Well, great. And then how about I go and I'll suggest an anime from that same year. You said 1994, right?
Yes, it started in 1994.
Okay. Then I am also going to recommend an anime from 1994. Recently, I've been getting into Gundam, which I've spoken with Nathaniel about on many occasions. I don't think I've mentioned it on the show, but I've been getting into building Gundams. It's been super fun, and so as a result, I've been watching a couple different Gundam series. And if you don't know what Gundam is, somehow it's a gigantic
then I'm
Japanese
wondering how
series.
you got to the show, first of all.
Yeah, that's true, but you never know. Some people have, have weird blind spots. So yeah, Gundam, giant robots, they fight. It's cool. Most of the Gundam series are these space opera fighting for big sweeping political and dramatic social sort of themes. And none of those are the one that I'm recommending today, because I'm recommending Mobile Fighter G Gundam, the series from 1994, which is completely different, I'll say, from like any other Gundam series. It's, I guess, in a different timeline from all the other ones up to that point, and it is. It's a lot more like campy and like bonkers than the other Gundams, which is why I really enjoy it. It's so much stranger in an interesting way, both from like the mecha designs and the story, which is like the Earth is set aside as a battlefield for this like tournament where every country on Earth sends, on Earth, basically a lot of people have moved off of Earth and onto these floating colonies out in space, and everyone sends a representative from their colony to fight in this Gundam fight on Earth, and whoever wins gets like control of the Earth, basically.
Yeah.
And it's about, no kidding. They rule over all the colonies until the next tournament happens, which I think is like every 4 years. It's about
Seems
Domon
like a good
Kashu.
system of government.
Yeah, it works, I guess, kind of. The Earth is in ruins, but who cares? It follows Domon Kashu, who's the pilot for Neo Japan, and his adventure to both win the tournament and figure out where his older brother is. His older brother has stolen this Gundam called the Devil Gundam from the Neo Japan government. And it is this massive Gundam that has a number of different things that it can do, including evolve, and bring things back from the dead, and all sorts of crazy shit. Self-replicate. It does all sorts of stuff, and is horrifying and powerful. And he wants to find where his brother went and destroy the Devil Gundam. But at the same time, he's fighting all these different people, and it's super crazy. It's really fun. Something I think is really great is like there's all the different countries have their own Gundam. They really just went with like the first thing that they think of when they think of a country to make that country's Gundam, and that's something I think is really, really funny.
What,
so
like the French one is made out of baguettes or something?
There's like a core of main characters that are called the Shuffle Alliance, and the French Neo-France's Gundam pilot is one of them. So he has a little more of a fleshed out Gundam. Which I think his Gundam is called the Gundam Rose, and it's like a fencer. It has like a cape. And that pilot's name is George Desand. There's the Dragon Gundam from China. There's my favorite one, obviously, as an American, I'm biased, but my favorite Gundam is the Gundam Maxter from Neo America, which is like a boxer. It's like shoulder pads come off and become boxing gloves, and then it like punches the shit out of things. And the pilot's name is my favorite name ever for anything ever. The pilot's name, he's also a boxer, and his name is Chibbity Crockett. A real American name. He loves to surf, and he calls Domon Kashu Japanese. He goes, "Oh, Japanese," and it's really funny. But like when we get to like when we get away from main characters, they sort of drift off into being more of a stereotype, such as the Gundam from Neo Mexico is the Tequila Gundam, and yes, it is wearing a sombrero. Uh-huh. I believe the Canadian one is like the Lumber Gundam or something, and it is a lumberjack. There's a lot of dumb shit that happens, and it's really great. I like it a lot, and he always does the Shining Finger. It's so great. The Shining Finger is his like special move where he just crushes the skull of the enemy Gundam. It's pretty fun.
So we're talking like broad, goofy, like Hitalia level ethnic stereotype comedy.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
It's so the way I would describe it, I feel like, is if other Gundam series are like, let's see, what's like a sci-fi, like a Star Trek, but with more fighting. Then so it's I'm gonna watch Star Trek. Then you can watch Gundam. if you like watching professional wrestling, then you watch G Gundam. G Gundam is the professional wrestling because it's like these people who are like these broad stereotypes, but in very fun and goofy ways, just giving it their all to make you think that they are like they really care about this stuff, but it's so like bonkers that you don't need to take it too seriously, but it's just a fun watch, and I really enjoyed it so far. I'm not all the way done with it again, but because I remember when I watched it when I was a little kid, when it was on Toonami, but I've enjoyed it so far, and I really like because I got into it for watching for like different Gundams to build Gunpla. The Gundam designs I feel like are very fun and interesting. Although I guess they're not super popular. There aren't that many kits for it.
more kits for you, I guess.
I guess, yeah. But yeah, it's good. I feel we've talked now more about G Gundam than Haiyore Naruko-san. So maybe it's time to move on and take our break, and when we get back, we'll have watched it. How does that sound?
Sounds great.
Alrighty, we'll see you in a bit. And we're back, and we've watched Haiyore Naruko-san. Nathaniel, what did you think about Haiyore Naruko-san, and now that you've seen it twice?
Well, I gotta be honest, I was disappointed by it the first time, and the second time I've watched it now, I don't feel much different about it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I landed as well. I was kind of hoping that it would, like, I don't know, if I knew what to expect, that it would be more pleasant,
right?
But I don't know, it just wasn't that interesting,
No, it really wasn't. And there's a couple angles to approach it from. One is, as I mentioned earlier, as a fan of Lovecraft, which I am, which it was always a lost cause, about cute anime girls and Lovecraft. It wasn't going to be a real faithful adaptation. And
that would be crazy.
And quite honestly, all the Lovecraft adaptations I've seen, most of them have not been particularly faithful to Lovecraft's original work.
Right.
Including the good ones, like the Reanimator. That was a good horror comedy movie back in the 80s. Lovecraft Country is airing right now on HBO, and I'm enjoying that so far. But they don't really capture the essence of Lovecraft's fiction, I don't believe.
Right. I never saw there was a I think it was Color Out of Space with Nicolas Cage.
Really?
I kind of wanted to see that. Yeah, but I never got around to watching it, but it sounded neat.
I knew there was an
cool
indie Color Out of Space, but I hadn't heard about a Nicolas Cage project.
Yeah, it's fairly recent, I think.
Huh.
I don't know. I think it came out this year, or maybe late last year. So
okay,
check that shit out. Yeah, 2019. It looks like cool.
But yeah, I'd say out of all the adaptations I've seen, the closest to the spirit of Lovecraft fiction that I've seen is the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game, tabletop role-playing.
Oh, yeah.
Which is, I mean, it's personally, that's my favorite tabletop role-playing game. And but even...
Although Nyarko can probably crush a battleship.
Yes, like the Dahol, or that was it, yeah.
Yeah. I think it was the Dahol.
Yeah, his damage bonus is enough to flatten a battleship in the monster compendium in that.
It's like very helpful.
But yeah, but even that, I'd say the way that adventures are typically written and played in Call of Cthulhu, it's not like a totally faithful thing. It tends to be a lot more firearms. Tends to be more optimistic, I would say.
Although that might just be us.
Obviously it depends on the group, but I would also say that based on published Chaosium adventures. So
okay. It's you can't even. I feel like calling Haiyore Nyaruko-san an adaptation is like a strong word.
Oh yeah.
It's like if you took out the references to like the Cthulhu mythos and replaced them with like, I don't know, like fucking names of Lord of the Rings characters or something, it would be exactly the same. Like the only thing that's different is like, or the only thing that exists are like the monsters that she fights are like actual monsters usually. But like the characters, like the main characters, don't have a whole lot in common with like Cthulhu mythos characters, other than being named that.
Yeah, and that would be the big criticism that I have, is not that it isn't totally faithful, because of course a harem comedy isn't going to be, but it doesn't really try to allude to Lovecraft beyond the names. It doesn't seem like. Like the big one I would say is the main character Nyarlathotep in H.P. Lovecraft's fiction. He's essentially like an avatar of chaos based on trickster gods like Loki and Kokopelli, stuff like that. And in this adaptation, she's essentially a space cop, which even from a parody perspective, it doesn't make sense based on the original character that this avatar of chaos is now like law enforcement. You know?
Yeah, she is a particularly chaotic and uncontrollable space cop, though.
True.
So there's something to be said about that, but I don't know.
She is the chaos that always crawls up to you with a smile.
Yeah.
Which I gotta give credit. That's a great line.
That is very... Well, okay, here's my problem with Haiyore Nyaruko-san. Is they didn't go far enough in either direction, I think. It's like, you could make it closer to Lovecraft and have it be like weirder and more uncomfortable. Or you could make it even further away and have it be like completely disconnected and just be like, yeah, okay, whatever, who cares? But there are some elements of it that mixed together seem like they should be like cool or funny, but then even out to just be nothing at all, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I think one of the most unfortunate parts about Haiyore Nyaruko-san is the first episode is the best one, even though it's just like she fights Night Gaunts 3 times in a row.
Yes.
There are like elements of that first episode and jokes in that first episode that I think are pretty funny, but then they never carry forward again, and are sort of usurped by things that are not particularly funny or interesting, unfortunately. Like, right. I think there's the section when she like goes to when they go shopping and she's like, oh, by the way, the only reason that all these scary aliens are here is because we all like anime and video games and stuff, is like a funny idea, but then it's never carried through.
It really wasn't. It was a plot thread that went throughout, but very, very loose thread. It seemed like they basically just kind of remembered that was the premise every few episodes, essentially.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool, I guess. And they never made it like a deeper like part of the universe, I guess. It would just show up every once in a while. But like then also within that scene, there's like Nyaruko being like, oh, I want this Blu-ray box, and it's like, oh, these are so indecent, give me all of them. Being just a real Dorcas about the whole thing. That I thought was funny, but then, and also her, the other thing that made me laugh in the first episode and then never again was the running gag of them just like referring to things as like space, this thing, space, CQC.
I'm a sucker for that gag, absolutely.
That's a funny gag, but yeah, it only, it only can carry you so far.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I would say is that the humor got repetitive sometimes. Like one specific example I'll throw out is, to go back to the first episode, they make a joke about Nyarlathotep says something to the effect of, "I could tell you, but you'd lose your sanity," in reference to the sanity mechanic from the Call of Cthulhu game. And the first time
they even show the dice.
Yeah. And the first time I saw that, I chuckled and I understood that reference sort of way, But then they keep making the same sanity loss joke without any variation on it, really.
Right.
And it just gets old.
I don't know. Even different references were they're never that funny, I guess. There's one episode, I think it might even be like the third episode or something like that, where they made like a couple of JoJo references, and I like JoJo's Bizarre Adventure a lot.
Yes.
And hopefully I'm not annoying about it, but and so I was like, I recognized those references, but it wasn't like, haha, like The Thing. I was just like, okay.
Yeah, cool. Another point about the humor is that it has a lot of very shallow referential humor, where it's just basically, well, to go back to that point, it's literally just the joke is, I understood that reference, Not any sort of attempt at real parody, I guess.
Yeah, it's I don't know. That said, the one thing I think that I always I think I enjoyed it before when we watched it the first time, and then now I do think Nyarko as a character is like pretty funny, but just from her like very like hyperactive, as I said, very chaotic sort of interfering in Mahiro's life, is funny, is again a funny idea, but then is never sort of brought to fruition. I feel like a lot of the comedy that it ends up on is unfortunately like the Nyarko likes Mahiro and Kuko likes Nyarko and Pasta likes Mahiro, and making that joke over and over again. It's like, haha. Yeah. Really funny, really cool. I like how funny this is the first time, and then the second time, and then 7 episodes later, they're still making the same joke. And it's like, okay, cool. Yeah, we get it.
Right.
I don't know, man.
And so, and I really feel like what it comes down to is the whole show feels like just really shallow pandering otaku bait.
And it definitely gives off that stench.
And there's some shows that can pull it off, and this one just feels really cynical to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel like a good example is Lucky Star. I feel like is like the premier like pandering otaku bait, but it is made from the sort of perspective. It is made from an otaku's perspective. Like, it is designed for and by,
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this feels a lot more like people just saying, this feels a lot more like, how do you do, fellow kids? Sort of thing.
It feels like a sort of a buckshot approach to appealing to otaku interests and fetishes.
Yeah, but then crossing it over somehow with fucking H.P. Lovecraft and thinking it'll all work out.
Right. But yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's like, throw out a Pokemon reference. Don't make a joke, just they'll laugh anyway.
Just she throws a ball. Get it?
People like Shota traps, right? Let's make Hoster a Shota trap.
For some reason.
Not saying that you can't have a good trap character again, but in this particular case, it just feels like a really, really cynical attempt at appealing to pushing people's buttons, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm trying. I feel like there was something else. I want to give the problem with this is I want to give credit where credit is due to this show because it does do some things that are funny, but like
Yes.
trying to grasp for those things is hard, you know. What are other things that were good about it? I did like it when this. I guess this is just the same space joke, but the fact that Nyaruko's like space CQC is never actually like a fighting technique or anything. It's just like she throws a grenade at people or she has a big crowbar, her some sort of unspeakable bar thing. Do you have anything else to say about this? I feel like this.
I guess if I'm grasping, Mihiro's mom was kind of an interesting, or not an interesting, but a funny character. How she's like the typical, sweet, loving Okasan who's also like a demon hunter on the side.
Yeah. With forks too. That's her weapon for some reason. Right. Yeah, I did enjoy her character, but I gotta say, like, whenever she was, there or talking about like demon hunting and stuff, or I guess deity hunting, I just kind of wanted to watch a show about a housewife that part-timed as a demon hunter, and how much cooler that would be.
True.
To have her be like, doing some kind of housewife shit and then being like, all right, I'll be right back. And then running off and like killing some sort of crazy monster just sort of in time to pick her son up from soccer practice. That could be a funny anime. I think. I feel like it would. Have you ever read the manga Way of the House Husband?
No.
It's a manga about a former Yakuza who now is like a homemaker because his wife works. And so he's like, he does all of the stuff around the house, like vacuuming and shopping for groceries and stuff like that, with the exact same intensity and facial expressions that he approached being a Yakuza with. So he's like super serious going out and like trying to get like deals on tofu and stuff like that, and he's going like, oh my, and he's like threatening people and stuff like that, and everybody's like, is this guy a Yakuza? And he's just like, I want that tofu. And like,
okay. Right.
I like something like that, but with Okasan Demon Hunter would be very good, I feel.
Right. Oh, and one more nice thing that I would like to say is that there is this scene in episode 11, the plot being which this lowly deity Gutatan comes to visit.
Yeah,
and
correct.
There's this hilarious scene where, this part isn't the hilarious part, but Mihiro is running with Gutatan, like running away from the rest of the girls. Then he bursts. He runs to his friend Yoichi's house. He bursts into his friend Yoichi's room with this loli in his hands, and Yoichi basically just turns around and says, "Oh, hello there!" Like it's the most natural thing in the world. Like Mihiro just bursts in with little girls, strange little girls all the time.
Well, I think that I did think that something about Yoichi was a very strange character because he just never reacted to anything.
Right.
He was just a complete cipher from the beginning to end. He like had no character.
Kind of explains how he was able to be possessed. Come to think,
yeah.
They put more thought into this shit than I realized.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
It's not just that he's a blank and two-dimensional best friend character.
Yeah, he was specifically a blank and two-dimensional best friend character so that he could be filled with character.
Okay, I'm like changing my verdict. 10 of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10. Wasn't it wasn't it Peter Sellers or something like that who is supposedly extremely boring off camera, but like he's known for playing all these different like characters, but whenever he wasn't being filmed, he was just the most featureless human being ever.
I have not heard that anecdote.
I think it was Peter Sellers. I don't remember. I think he mentioned it when he was on The Muppet Show. I might be getting all of this wrong. In fact, I almost certainly am. So we'll just say I dreamt all of that.
All right. And remember, listeners, we are not a reliable source for anything.
Oh, no. We don't do any research or Google anything, ignoring the fact that I Googled something earlier in this show. Yeah, don't worry about it. Everything we say is a lie if you think about it hard enough. All right. Do you have anything else to say about Haiyore Nyaruko-san, positive or negative? Because I don't know. I feel like this is a shorter conversation because we're just like,
yeah,
Nyaruko-san. Do you want to move on to the best girl Olympics?
Aren't we doing the opening segment?
Oh, fuck. Okay, yeah. Let's do.
This is actually a really important part of the show to talk about.
That's right. Okay, yeah. Okay, we'll do the opening segment. It's time for the opening segment. The segment where we talk about the opening. God damn.
Holy shit. This is spectacular.
This is the best part of the show by far. Although that said, I think I like the opening of Nyaruko-san W better than this one.
Oh man, that's a tight race, absolutely.
Yeah. I think this one's pretty good. I especially like with the animation. I think it's interesting that in the first part where there's like my hero walking around and he keeps like just missing all of the characters. Like he'll like turn around and then Nyaruko like walks behind him and then he looks back and she's not there. Or he's like standing right next to Hasta and then he like looks but he's like raised his like newspaper that has the yellow sign on it. And stuff like that. I think that is one of the most like Lovecraft things in the whole show where it's like these creatures are like staying just outside his knowable area.
Right.
You know?
Right.
Is like they're beyond his liminal space and he can't like grasp that they're there, but they are. And I was like, oh wow, okay, that's kind of an interesting idea. Anyway, but the song is fantastic.
The song, I mean, just wonderfully upbeat pop. Help me out here, buddy.
It's just the most catchy ass earworm.
Lots of
history.
Chromatic movement in the melody.
Yeah, I mean, you're the music guy. You know more about music. I just know that I like that they go, nya.
Well, yes, there's
nya.
That is probably the most important part, but
yeah, let's nya. It's great, also. Like,
yeah, wonderful melody with a wonderful arrangement, high quality production.
Yeah,
and with nice animation to go along with it.
Yeah. But I don't know. As you said, I don't want to talk too much about the opening of the second season because we didn't watch the second season. But I think the second season opening is like it is equally as good as the first, but then there are elements of it that it does better, such as in the first season opening, there's like. The sort of like backing vocals are sort of, they sound like not further away exactly, but more like processed in a way that makes them feel like further away, you know? Whereas in the second season opening, it takes the form a lot more of like whispering, you know? Which I think is better for like the Lovecraft theme where there's these like they're saying scary things just kind of under their breath, and I don't know, it really works for me. And also I like the instead of nya, although the nya is funny because of Nyarlathotep, the fact that in the second season opening they say they chant Sanchi Pinchi, which is like sanity level low. Is pretty funny. So, I don't know. They're both extremely powerful openings.
They're both good. I have them both on playlists.
Yeah. I listen to both of them driving to work sometimes. I have like a playlist of anime openings that I listen to sometimes driving to work. and they're both on there, and they're great.
And I'd also like to say I'd also like to give credit to the excellent ending from back to the first season that we're talking about this episode. And it doesn't. Oh no, that's fine. It doesn't quite reach the heights of the opening, but I would
still pretty fun though.
The song is nice, but where it really elevates, I feel like, is in the art, because it has, for an ending, it has a lot of animated frames, and the still frames that it does have, they're fairly detailed illustrations.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised about that, if I'm honest.
Yes,
because a lot of the openings or endings that we've seen so far even have just been like static images of the characters and things like that. Except for, I guess, Godobun no Hanayome had like the all the various marriage imagery, stuff like that. But, so that had a little more stylism going on. But yeah, these a lot of them are just like, and here are the characters. But yeah, this is a little more complex, which I enjoyed. So yeah, is this the best opening and ending that we've watched so far? For these,
without question, I would say.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. I feel like I have a special place in my heart for the opening Sakura skip, but from New Game. But because that's got a lot of big, horns and stuff that I love. Very, very, pumping. But no, this is
better than this. I don't think so.
Better than, definitely not. This is, I think this is gonna hold the best opening for, if not ever, certainly a long time. This is a great opening.
It is.
Yeah, it's like I don't think we're gonna watch any of the series that actually have my favorite openings.
Quality to actual show quality ratio there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they put all of the work into making.
Honestly,
the OP
it
really
feels
good.
like that. I'm not.
It's so much more entertaining than the show itself. So yeah, okay. All right, now that that's over with, that was very important. You're right. Now let's move on to the Best Girl Olympics. Who are you going to bring to the table for the Best Girl Olympics? You can only choose one.
Right. Well, let's see. We have Nyarlathotep, Cthulhu, Hoster. Those are the main three.
Well, wait a minute. Is bringing Hoster allowed? It is called the Best Girl Olympics, and there's never any ambiguousness that Hoster is a guy. It's not like, it's unquestioned.
Right. Yeah, but he's still well, A, he's a trap characteristics, and B, he's part of the harem.
Okay. All right. Yeah, sure. Hoster gets to be in the Best Girl Olympics.
I feel like he would be pleased with that decision as well. So that's another factor.
I think he would appreciate that. So okay, fine. And also, if I feel like that'll be weird if Hosta is put into the running and then wins and then beats who did Hajime win last week? I think Hajime did. I think she did. And beats Hajime, and then the Best Girl Olympics is headed up by Hosta. Frankly, I don't think that's going to happen, though.
Well, yeah, I mainly wanted to bring it up for the sake of academic debate. Because my pick is, and there are other girls, but ultimately my pick is going to have to be the main character, Nyarlathotep. Because as big a game as I talked earlier about how this show is, shallow otaku pandering that's insulting to my intelligence, I am just as vulnerable to this shit as everyone else. So I don't know. Nyarlathotep is basically the girl, I don't know, who's into all sorts of otaku shit, like eroge and manga, and she unreasonably lusts after the main character, and it's just, like I said, ridiculous pandering, but I still dig it, That is my pick.
Okay. I agree that I think I think Nyarlathotep is like, she's good, you know? She's fun. She's very, got a lot going on, exciting to be around, as you said, likes a lot of the, the dumb otaku shit that we're into. She's got that super long shit. What are they called? I know there's ahoge. That's the correct one. That's not that's not the hentai thing. Her like long hair thing. Because I know there's ahoge and ahegao, and one of them is bad and one of them is not. So I think it's ahoge. Anyway, yeah, because it has idiot in it, idiot hair. So yeah, she has her like long antenna.
I get it now. Yes, yeah. That's a very cute feature.
That's good. She's got some sort of unspeakable bar thing. Very good.
Now, the big choice against her would be, well, it's the classic debate that goes back to when the show aired. Is Sire Mahiro a vagrant, or is Nyaruko a terrible Frenchman? Are you familiar with this?
What the fuck are you talking about?
All right. I'm gonna send it over to you quick here.
Okay.
Well, you never seen this? This is one of those classic tapestry pictures.
If I were to be blessed as him, I would seize Lady Naruko instantly. Saruman here is wiser than thou art, for he is aware that while she may look like a maiden, she is in truth a terrible Frenchman. Right. Okay, so, yeah, I know these.
Yes, so there's the debate. Is Mahiro an idiot for rejecting Nyaruko, or is he making the smart decisions, being that she's like deity / avatar of chaos?
Yeah, she's some sort of weird, unknowable creature that would kill him instantly to look at. The thing is, it's pretty clear that Nyaruko can take that form if she so chooses, but doesn't really feel like it or give a shit about it, you know? It's not like she would do that on purpose to hurt him, you know? So I don't think that... So she's probably a terrible Frenchman in truth, but I don't think that really matters, you know? If she's always in human form, who really cares? What really does matter, and the big point against Nyaruko, is I feel like she would just be exhausting to be around for longer than maybe a month.
See, and I feel like I guess my argument in favor of seizing Lady Nyaruko instantly is less thoughtful than yours. It's basically just that my hero is so goddamn boring and has nothing going on in his life that you might as well pursue the one interesting thing that has started happening.
Yeah, that is true. He really doesn't have a whole lot going on.
So if she is in truth a terrible Frenchman, at least it's interesting.
Yeah. I guess you're right in that, like, I think without Nyaruko being there, he would basically be just like his friend, like a completely like blank nothingness person.
Essentially, yeah.
And that's not cool or fun. So I guess, hanging out with a crazy like space cop would at least would be kind of like stuff would be happening. So that's something. That's a pretty good, you make a good argument is the thing, but I have not, allow me to enter into the running. My entrant, my choice, Yoriko Yasaka, Mahiro's mom.
Okay.
I think she's the best girl of this series. And let me tell you why. She's nice, understanding. Her son hangs out with these weird things, and she's immediately just like, yeah, okay, whatever. And she likes Shantak-kun, the little weird thing. So that's nice. She likes video games, to the point that she's considered an expert on them. So that's fun. You could hang out and play video games with Mahiro's mom. The biggest problem I feel like with, she's a, she hunts deities. That's pretty dope. The biggest problem with it, with Yoriko, is Mahiro, her son, who blows. That's the biggest problem, I feel like.
Right.
Other than that, she's really great.
Okay.
She's just fun loving, super nice lady who I would hang out with her. She's probably a good cook. So I wouldn't have to eat shitty fast food all the time, or burn my own food. There's all sorts of positives, bro. She's got forks. Just in case you want to have forks.
Yeah. I was honestly, I was thinking of her as a dark horse candidate, and I think that your argument has won me over.
Really?
I think so. Yes.
So you think that
it's a close one, but
I mean, yeah, I do agree.
I'm willing to. I don't know. You make a compelling argument.
Yeah, Nyaruko's cool and everything, but I guess the fact that she might be a terrible Frenchman is not a danger that you should ignore.
Right.
So why not hang out with a lady who is actually as cool as Nyaruko, but won't turn into some sort of horrifying hell abomination that will make you go insane when you look at her.
Okay.
Plus, I don't know if I mentioned this, forks. You can never. I don't know what this fucking series is with forks.
Yeah,
why is forks the thing?
I don't know, man. It holds up spork shit, I guess. I don't know.
I guess, yeah, it was funny. It was just like, aha, what's the most lol random thing that you could fight Nyarlathotep with? I guess forks. Whatever.
So I believe that this is a first on our show. The Okasan character has pulled through with the victory in the Best Girl Olympics.
Oh yeah, I don't think we've had an Okasan before, but now we do. But
breaking down barriers.
Yeah. We're very progressive here. But what remains to be seen is hanging out with this, fork mom who likes video games. Do you prefer that over an energetic dummy who makes video games? Is Mahiro's mom better or worse than Hajime from New Game?
Oh boy,
I think I know my answer, man.
I think I'm gonna have to go with Mahiro's mom here.
Really?
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. Now I'm fighting myself. I guess
you really sold me.
Yeah. Okay. I'm fighting myself now. I guess because I think Hajime is still our winner here.
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like, although this might just be a problem with the show that Mahiro's mom is in, I feel like she doesn't do as many things that I found charming as Hajime did. It's also, I think that Hajime has has an advantage in if we're talking about Mahiro's mom liking video games, the fact that Hajime also clearly likes video games because she makes them and plays them, but then she also has all of this other otaku garbage, all of her action figures and going to tokusatsu shows and stuff like that, that she is not just thinks is fun, but is so legitimately and purely passionate about that I find that very charming. She knows what she likes. She has a good time. Yeah. I think that she would just be fun to hang around with.
And I would agree that her character is a bit more fleshed out, but I think that that is I don't know, that for me that's a bit of the appeal of Mahiro's mom character. I guess, given that I didn't enjoy the show that much, the fact that she didn't have that much screen time means that I would be interested in learning more about her, like you were talking with the spin-off show, Yeah,
that's okay. That's true. But allow me to bring up the big negative of Mahiro's mom, again, being Mahiro, in that she does have to recharge her sononium
okay.
by hugging her son.
Okay.
And so I feel like you're going to be
that's
hanging
a little
around
too much
with
baggage.
Yeah,
isn't it?
you know, I guess I almost called her a single mom. I guess also the fact we didn't bring up the fact that she is married.
Yeah, she is.
And apparently they've been on 17 honeymoons, which is quite a few. I'm surprised that my hero is an only child. So I don't know, that maybe that might be a little too much. You know, she's got a lot going on. She's her own woman,
right.
but I don't know if I'm ready for the sort of commitment that having a fully grown son would
Right.
would bring to the table. I'm not that responsible.
Okay.
I feel like that is a more of a problem for me than I would like to admit.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. With the baggage of Mahiro, she's the weaker choice.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Hajime is just she's fun.
Yeah,
I've been watching the second season of New Game as well, and Hajime is still very very charming to me. There's something about a Genki dummy that I like a lot.
man, imagine being such a shitty son that you drag your mom down by just mere association like this.
Yeah. You just exist, and then that knocks her down.
You're not even doing anything.
The gold
bad.
medal to the
You're
silver
just
medal.
A lame person.
I mean, it's the problem that he's not doing anything. If he was like an interesting character, then, or like even a bad one, then I'd be like, well, that's kind of funny. You win, my hero's mom. But I don't know. Also, there's also the fact that we would have to remember what her name is.
True.
We always just call her Mahiro's mom.
True.
I used her name once.
True. That's a fair point.
So, I don't know.
All right.
I think Hajime wins.
I think we got a winner.
Hajime. And that means to start. So, right?
Yes.
Yeah, she's starting to win. All right. So I think that's everything about Haiyore and Nyaruko-san that we care to talk about. I certainly don't give a shit about the rest of it. We're not going to come back for the second season.
Yeah, maybe, but probably not.
I fucking hope not. But yeah, I'm glad we both saw it again just to confirm our suspicions that it was not very good.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, I'd say. So yeah, 1 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, I'd say. Well, I don't know. Maybe no. Yeah, 1 out of 5. I almost upgraded it to 2 out of 5, but I was like, no, that's giving it too much credit.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Then next time we're gonna talk about Yuru Camp, an anime about girls camping. I have not seen it,
and neither have I.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So yeah, I'll be interested to check it out. I've heard good things about it, and I've seen some memes around it. So
personally, I'm way more enthusiastic for watching cute anime girls camping than I am for actual camping. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I went camping one time, and I was like, "This is pretty all right." But then the rest of the times that I went camping, I was like, I don't know. But yeah, I'm interested to live vicariously through these anime girls. All right, that'll be next time. But until then, I think we're good here. So we'll see you next time, and thank you for doing your part to save anime.